Okay. So excited to film this video, but I'm also like really nervous. If you're at Iowa State right now, I miss you so much. I love you. Knew this was gonna happen. I was predicting like 6 months ago that I knew I was gonna feel like this. Like, I miss you guys so much. I miss all my friends. We had the best summer ever. I miss everybody. Anyways, welcome back to my channel, everyone. I feel like I'm looking very like vampire girly right now. I just want to say that in today's video, it's been difficult for me to even talk about. It's just been a topic that I've been avoiding. I feel like if I make this video that it could possibly help somebody who's going through the same thing as me. Also, if you see me glancing to the side right here, it's just my iPad. I really want to make sure that I'm touching on all the points that I want to touch on. I'm honestly a little bit nervous about talking about this because I'm honestly just scared of people having an opinion on my life choice. I just decided that I don't really care. This is me right here next to Ty and Jason, and then on this side I'm like up here. Just knowing how I feel today, even like a couple months before I was graduating, I literally felt like I was going through an existential crisis. Everything I've ever known is coming to an end. Just wish there was more content out there that touched on this, because I truly feel like not enough people talk about it. There just needs to be more awareness about this. There is honestly so much to unpack, and let's go. Okay, so I went on my Instagram. I asked people to ask me everything pretty much track related, graduation, how's my transition outside of sports been doing, am I retired, blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm actually so nervous. Like, my heart is like pumping. Okay, let's do this. So, okay, the first question is actually multiple questions. It is actually the elephant in the room. Am I going to pursue Paris 2024, which is the Paris Olympics? And do I have plans of going pro? And am I still doing track? And the answer to that is no. And when I tell people no, a lot of people are really shocked, honestly, that I'm not continuing track. But there was a point in time where I did want to go pro. But then somewhere during my indoor season, I developed a really bad injury, and it was something that was progressively getting worse every single day. I had a stress reaction in my lumbar spine. This injury that was just growing. I kept going to practice. My routine was like, I would go to the training room, get treatment for an hour, go to practice. Then once I was done practice, I would go to the training room again to get more treatment. That was my life. It was stupid, honestly. And then it got to the point where I couldn't go a single day without taking a painkiller. It was so hard to literally do anything. It got to the point where if I didn't rest, then my stress reaction was gonna turn into a stress fracture, and that is really scary considering it was my back, and I've never had a back injury ever in my life. Even that whole situation, like, my parents hated that for me, like everybody hated that for me, because like your back is like really scary. And once indoor season concluded, from there I literally had to rest for 4 weeks. Like, I had extremely modified workouts, or I wasn't working out at all. It literally got to the point where I would just be at practice sitting there. I don't know if you guys remember, or if you guys watched my Big 12's indoor vlog. It's that same back injury that I was talking about. There were so many times where I would be crying because I wouldn't be able to race. Like, there were a couple of races where I had to sit out because we got to the meet and I wouldn't even be able to warm up. I remember being in Lubbock at Big 12s and I couldn't even do my pre-meet at all, which was like the day before the meet. And I was like, how the fuck am I gonna pull this off? I literally have the worst pain in my life. After Big 12, my back ended up being in the worst shape. From there, my season was never the same. Pushed too hard at Big 12s to be able to compete. I took that break. It was really hard for me to make up time and continue the season in the same shape that I was before. Sometimes I didn't think that I would even be able to get out of bed that morning because it would hurt so bad to like move around or twist. Like turning my steering wheel was hard, or opening doors was difficult. Dealing with that injury was so hard, and I think that's also why when I finally graduated and I finished my season, I was at a place where I was fine with everything, because like throughout the year, that was the time that I spent grieving everything. My season, grieving all the opportunities, that's when I was honestly at my worst probably. That is honestly the biggest reason why I didn't go pro. What I needed to be able to go professional in track was to PR. And if you don't know what PR means, like I needed to basically like improve my times from last year, and I didn't do any of that. I needed to PR in order to receive like any forms of income. What my plan was, like when I graduated, I was gonna stay in Iowa and train with Coach Curtis and Coach Alex. If I did that with 0 contracts, 0 streams of income, I would have had to also work like a 9 to 5 as well as a 20-week workout schedule. I didn't want to do that. It was either that or I just go like $40,000 into debt. And that's how much like me and my dad calculated how much it would have been if I wanted to stay in Iowa and train with Curtis. Like living, rent, I would have had to pay for traveling to meets, hotels at meets, groceries, like my personal spending, and like throughout the year, that's how much it would have been if we budgeted everything properly. To be honest with you, like I really wasn't interested in doing that. Like it didn't make sense to me just to be able to say that I went to the Olympics. That's if I even qualified. There were just too many risks, too many barriers, too many what ifs, and I just didn't want to do it. Like I just wasn't interested. And just because I made that choice, that doesn't mean that I have a bad relationship with track. I actually still love track, and I'm happy that I was able to step away when I could end on a good note. You know what I mean? Finally, we're able to move on from that question, and next question was, why did I choose to move to Canada out of all places? I moved to Canada because that is where my parents are, and that is where my whole entire family is. I just felt like I missed a lot when I was at school. Like I missed a lot of time with my family. I missed so many birthday parties. I missed so many big monumental occasions that I really just wanted to go back home and spend some time with my parents because I miss them. Next question is, what is the best track that I had an opportunity to run on? And I really think that the Iowa State indoor track is like superior to all tracks. I love that facility. If I had to say any other track, it would either be between Texas Tech indoor and the Arkansas indoor track. Even though the Arkansas facility is stunning and I love the aesthetics there, I just feel like that track for me personally is cursed. I've never ran a good race there. And if I have ran a race there, it's been like catastrophic. Like, only disasters happen in Arkansas for me. I tried every year to break the curse, but I couldn't. There was no way that I was able to run good at that track. But with that being said, Texas Tech, only good vibes there. I've PR'd there every time, and I love Lubbock. Everything about Lubbock, everything about the track, it's so lit. I love it, indoor and outdoor. What is some advice that you have for college athletes in their senior year about to make the transition into real life? Like, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about what next year is gonna look like. Definitely plan it out to some extent, like in a general sense, because once you get too hung up on it, once you start getting stressed about it, you're taking yourself away from those moments that I feel like you need to cherish. I feel like your senior year is all about spending as much time as you can with the people there and making as many memories as you can, because I really believe that you should just be absorbing every single moment that you have, because it's, I'm sorry to say, but it's never gonna be like that again. And like those memories and the people that you meet and literally just everything about it is so much more worth it than trying to figure out what you're gonna do post-grad, because you're gonna have so much time to think about that. And my personal situation was that I didn't know if I want to go corporate. I didn't know if I wanted to do something like creative, like influencer vibes. I didn't know if I wanted to go pro. I didn't know if I wanted to live in Iowa. I didn't know if I wanted to live somewhere else in the US. I didn't know if I wanted to live in Canada. I didn't know if I wanted to go home. I literally knew nothing. The thing about being in that position is that you have so many different routes that you can go in, and you literally get paralyzed for having so many different options. One thing of advice, be open, have an open mind. Just be open to all opportunities and the universe will open up to you. Just let go of your grip. Loosen up that control you're trying to have. Okay, moving on. What is my biggest takeaway from the track world that I use in my everyday life? Okay, there are honestly so many, and one thing I would say that is the biggest lesson that I learned as I came of age. When you're maturing as an athlete, as an individual, it's knowing when it's your time and trusting that your time will come. Because there were so many times in college, like during my track career, where I would set these really crazy, insane goals that I knew so confidently that I could achieve, and then I would make a plan like backwards on how to get there, and I literally planned everything out like every step of the way. But despite putting in all those efforts and like getting too hung up on what my goals were, I would still come up short. There were so many times where I literally, like I said, would plan everything out. I would do everything as routine, like literally the definition of daily deposit. And there were so many times where when I would get caught up on my routine, I would be like, holy shit, if I keep this up, then I'm going to be the most insane hurdler of my fucking generation. Like, I'm gonna go crazy, I'm gonna be the best ever, I'm gonna be goated, I'm gonna break records, I'm gonna make history, like I'm gonna go absolutely dummy stupid. But then something would fucking happen, whether that is COVID, slipping at practice and cutting my knee open, whether that's pulling my hamstring, even though I never had hamstring problems at all that year. Something will happen sometimes in the universe that will just set you back by 100%. That would make you sit out. There would just be something where it'll just ruin your fucking plan. On top of that, while I'm sitting out, while I'm like in my feelings so sad, I would see somebody else, my rival, my teammate, my friend, whatever, somebody else doing the exact thing that I wanted to do. Like literally someone else would be out there living my dream. Like I would have to sit there and clap for them because I'm not a jealous ass bitch and be happy for them, but deep down I would constantly think and question, like, why can't that be me? Like, if I'm doing everything correctly. There were so many times where I would sit in my room in the dark asking God, like, why can't it be me? Why isn't it me? It would get so serious. And this is where I started to learn that there's always a time for you to shine. There's always a time for you to sit out and watch. And like, there's something that you have to learn to be able to prepare you for those moments. Because sometimes you're not ready for those moments. Sometimes who you are as a person will not be able to handle what you want in life. And universe will work in mysterious ways to make you learn those lessons so that you are ready for those things. This translates into my real life because I'm at the point I really just don't know what's gonna happen next, and that's literally fine. I'm the most comfortable I've ever been in my life about uncertainty, and sometimes it really truly gets so overwhelming some days, and I feel like I'm literally at step 1, and sometimes I would compare myself to people who are at step 50, and sometimes I would be in situations where I'm just like, fuck, like, when am I gonna figure it out? Like, I've gone to the point where you just need to trust yourself and just being patient, that like sometimes it really just takes time. There's so much to learn about yourself, like once you've graduated and like moved on to what they say real life. So yeah, those are all the questions that I'm going to answer today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't end up making it too long. There are still a couple questions that I do want to ask, but I think I'll just put it in a part 2. I really hope that if there's anybody out there that's in the same position as me, that this video was able to help you, and if anyone is able to see that I'm going through it too, that you can feel less alone, because there are definitely moments that I've had within the past few months where I literally feel like nobody understands me, nobody understands what I'm going through. It's such a niche thing, but like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're going through the same thing as me, just know all you need is a supportive group around you to be able to lift you up when you need it. Keep in touch with your college friends, try out new things, cry if you need to, keep a journal so you can keep track of your good days and your bad days. Reconnect with your inner child, figure out what you liked to do before you were an athlete, or even some of the other things that you maybe didn't have enough time to do. Just know that we're gonna get through this together. Like I said, I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys in the next video.